So one of the reasons I like carrying number 36 bank line is it's 3 smaller strands of, I believe, probably number 12. Not sure, but mathematically that sounds correct. But it's really easy for me to break that down into its smaller strands if I don't need something that thick. So I'll just kind of get those started. Then I can run it down my leg, take up the slack, and just unroll it that way down my leg. And I can quickly break down a section into its smaller components if that's what I need, which in this case I'm going to be whipping the ends of a small diameter sisal rope that I just made. So I don't need it that long, and I definitely don't need it that thick. So I've got 2 more strands here. I'll put those in my pocket for the other end. But that's how I quickly and easily break down that number 36 bank line into a smaller diameter, then I don't have to carry 2 different rolls. Alright, so I'm going to whip this before I take it off the rope spinner. It's already been spun and it's been set. So I'm going to use what's called a common whipping knot, and the reason it's called a common whipping knot is because that's what you would commonly use to whip the ends of a rope. So I'll take a bite. I won't take a bite as if I'm eating it, but I'll make a bite. Place that bite directly over where I want to start whipping, and I'll pinch that to the rope that I'm actually whipping it to. Then I'll start coming around, leaving that tail. I'll come around and as tightly as possible wrap that away from this tail and up towards the loop that was formed by that bite. And it's important to keep this tight. It needs to fit down into all the nooks and crannies of your newfound rope. And this is a small diameter, maybe paracord diameter, pretty small, because I just need this to secure the bottom and the top of my browse bed to replace that twine. This is a little more robust. So I like to wrap it, a good couple of inches to hold it secure. And what I love about the bank line is that it's tarred, tarred mariner's line. So it sticks on to itself pretty well. And it's easy to get nice, tight whipping on here. And I'd rather have too much whipping than not enough. So I'm going to bring that around. Now I'm going to go through that small little loop, that bite right there, with the end. I like threading a needle here. There we go. Pull that through on my last wrap. Then I can grab the bottom and start pulling that knot down towards the inside of those wraps. And it should end up roughly centered. There we go. Now I can cut those off, trim them. And I can cut right at the base of that whipping. I'll kind of burn the ends to keep those from unraveling. And then I'll use the fire to get rid of all these little fuzzies, and it'll look just like store-bought rope when I'm done. That's the common whipping knot. So, while you're covered with smoke, looking like the apocalypse here. So a rope spinner is nothing more than, two sticks, one being your handle and one being kind of your pendulum, and that has a groove cut in here to put the string in, and a nail that goes through that and into the handle so that you can spin it in both directions. And what this allows you to do is take something like sisal twine, in this case a very small diameter, still useful for some applications, but for more robust applications where you need a stronger rope or cordage, you can use the rope spinner to turn this into some beneficial rope of any diameter. In this case it's a smaller diameter rope, probably a cordage more, about the size of paracord. Basically this is 3 plies, and I spun them clockwise until they were tight, pulled on it to set it a couple of times, then I doubled it back over and I spun it counterclockwise, and basically that's essentially just like reverse wrap cordage, 2-ply reverse wrap. I'm twisting those fibers into each other and then setting it so that one wants to unspin one way, one wants to unspin the other, and they lock into each other. Just let it billow. Then I whip the 2 ends and then cut it off, and I've got rope. And if I wanted to do larger, I would do more strands, possibly 3-ply instead of 2-ply. A lot of different ways, but the principle remains the same, all done with a simple rope spinner. This one is got a lot of fuzzies on it, so I'm kind of going to stoke the fire here real quick, singe all those off, and then this will be as good as anything you get from the store. And if you wanted, you could actually coat it with beeswax to kind of waterproof it a little bit. Might not go that far, but I'm just going to singe these ends off, and I'll show you kind of the end result. Don't want to spend too much time in one place, just want to singe all those loose fibers off of it. You can probably see the difference now. That's a big one. It's like a tinder bundle hanging off of there. There we go. Now you can see I've got my whipped ends. I've got it singed. You can see how the fibers are wrapped into each other, holding it tight. So a little knowledge goes a long way. A simple rope spinner, and you can make cordage or rope of any diameter you want by yourself. I like that quite a bit better. A lot more robust cord. Alright, so if you've made it this far into the series and this far into this video, then you're the folks that need to hear this the most. Thanks for watching. As always, we appreciate your views. We appreciate your shares, your likes, your comments, questions. Put them below. If you do have a question, I'll get to it. I appreciate you guys coming along with me, hanging out with me in the woods, enjoying some campfire cooking, and seeing kind of the bushcraft camp take shape, at least the initial version, the 1.0 version. See you guys next time. Hope to see you in the woods.